'Cause this is my legacy, legacy. This is my legacy.
Hai, selamat datang ke Legacy.tv Interview Special. Dan ini adalah minggu yang ke-6 di mana kita membawa ramai orang daripada different topik. Kalau kamu pergi ke Legacy.tv, ianya lebih kepada 4 topik yang saya khususkan. Leadership, self-development, spirituality, dan itu 4 yang saya fokuskan. Tetapi banyak lagi topik yang kita boleh lihat. Dan kali ini kita bersama dengan Tabitha, iaitu one of the first women in this interview special. Okay, before kita mula daripada our conversation, I just want to saya recap balik. Do you remember last time we meet at the coffee factory?
Coffee factory? Not really. Coffee factory kan Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I was studying Bible study, preparing for Bible study, and you had your meetings with your group, like your team and other.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, why don't I invite you as someone who can talk to us about how to think about financial dan sebagainya. And that's why you are in this interview special. Welcome.
What an honor. Thank you. What an honor.
Do you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, nama saya Tabitha. Saya seorang youth worker di Christ Baptist Church. Tetapi lebih kurang 6 bulan yang lalu saya mula berkecimpung di dalam industri kewangan. So sekarang saya juga seorang yang agent insurance dan juga unit trust consultants yang berlesen. Yeah, so that's basically what I do.
Itu di Prudential.
Prudential and saya juga consultant untuk unit trust consultant untuk public mutual.
Yes, itu sih. So you are really tune dengan topik kita hari ini. Sebab there are times when I want to talk about financial, but then I'm thinking of maybe I can just share about a few things yang I do. But we want to hear from you who have this experience about financial. And topik kita hari ini ialah Kaedah G.I.F.T untuk mengendalikan wang. And I hope that any youth yang ada bersama pada hari ini, money is very important. And sometimes, as a Christian, we thought that money is, tak boleh lah, we cannot tak boleh love money. Of course, the Bible says do not love money, but when we look at the way how we live, money is important. And the way we handle our money is the way how we handle God resources to us. And for you today, you want to share with us about how we want to handle money, especially young people today. Tabitha, I see there are a lot of spending too much on the money that they don't have to impress people that they want to do. So maybe you want to share about what do you think about this topic before we go for this gift?
Actually, what you say is so true. Banyak kali kan, I think the main thing yang young people, one thing that a lot of us don't understand is that we are called to be stewards,
Yes.
Yang penjaga of semua sumber-sumber yang telah diberikan Tuhan kepada kita. And this is actually my journey about sometime last year. Masa tu baru beli kereta baru, and then I've got like a few things, and then I found myself every month belum sampai tengah bulan sudah tak ada duit, and I'm like, this is not right. This is not right. And I'm supposed to be working for God, but why am I struggling so much with my money? So I began to talk with some mentors, both my upline, my manager in Prudential and also my upline in Public Mutual. Both are elders and pastors.
Oh, okay.
So mereka juga bekerja untuk Tuhan. And I see that God, how God bless them. Macam mana Tuhan boleh menggunakan, mereka boleh melayani Tuhan pada masa yang sama, mereka juga boleh control atau steward their own money, manage their own money in a very godly way. So, and I said, I want to be like that. So that's how I started walking and going into this journey of becoming like a life coach, financial coach, I guess you can say that.
Advisor and counselor like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, and I got really frustrated.
Yes.
In the beginning, but now it's better because I began to learn the importance of budgeting. Kalau kita tidak budget duit kita kan, uh, tidak guna also, because when you budget, you plan.
Yes.
And you see like apa yang masuk dan apa juga yang keluar. So that's
Interesting.
so when we budget, we also need to have principles like what we budget for, apa yang kita masuk dalam budget itu. Then and apa yang which is where the gift principle comes in.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk more about that budgeting later. But for me, like the way I introduced our conversation today, there is a stigma between Christian and money. And every time when I think of, I need to earn this certain amount, I'm thinking, no lah, I cannot be like that. So there is a stigma is happening there. And the way, because I'm a reader, I love to read books dan sebagainya, and I found out Tabitha yang I really have few books on finance. Books yang saya ada is Robert Kiyosaki and some of his book, but when I look at, it's like 1% of all the books that I have, that is the only financial book that I study.
Yeah.
What do you think about the stigma, and what do you think about why people don't want to learn so much about education, financial education?
I think a lot of it comes from pulpit also lah kan, pastor-pastor cakap kamu tidak boleh menjadikan duit sebagai idola atau apa tu berhala, jangan menjadikan duit sebagai berhala, jangan menjadikan duit sebagai master. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. You should only serve one. Which is true, by the way.
Yes.
We only have one master, which is Jesus. But stigma, I think cara penyampaian itu mungkin contribute kepada stigma itu.
Yeah.
And I feel it's about time that we get out of that. Jesus didn't call us to join into his kingdom to be rich or anything, but he just wants us to manage his resources well.
Yeah.
So kalau Tuhan beri kita RM10, macam mana kita menjaga RM10 itu? Kalau Tuhan memberi kita RM100, macam mana kita menjaga RM100? So there shouldn't be any stigma when it comes to money. It's just a matter of how are we managing? I've been reading a lot on. There are a lot of devotions in YouVersion app, which is one of the most popular Bible app out there on money. And one of it that I recommend is Before the Cross by Mike Mobley. It has a lot of very practical advice on how Christians should handle money.
Yeah, we're gonna make that available, that title available, so that people can search later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very good. Yeah.
Do you want to dive into how we want to handle our money?
Sure. Okay. So when I terimakan, so one of the things that I do is I think out what's my budget for that month. There are many ways that as young people we can do budgeting. There are a lot of tools that's available online. There are a lot of apps that you can use.
Yeah.
But one of the most simple ways is kertas and pen and paper.
Yeah.
So you do a T. Kalau pernah ambil prinsip account, maybe mereka tahulah apa yang saya cakap ni. You do a T. Yang di sebelah kiri, di sebelah kiri, sebelah kanan. I don't know my left and right.
One of the side will be
one of the side would be how much you earn. Semua income, meaning your allowance, kalau sudah kerja gaji kamu, and even all your part time, kalau ada buat part time, semua tulis. Every form of income kamu tulis di satu kolom.
Okay.
Dan di kolom yang sebelah tu, kamu tulis everything that you have to spend on.
Okay.
Everything that you have to spend on. And in 1 month there are a lot of things that we have to spend. Kan? I also acknowledge yang sebagai orang muda kita ni banyak debts, hutang lah. Ya. Hutang is one of the big things that's in our lives. But Tuhan tidak mau kita berhutang. It's not biblically speaking, it's not a good thing to berhutang.
Okay.
but we need to deal with that. You know, macam mana kita mau membayar hutang and we need to plan according to that. But when we come up with this budget, and like I shared with you previously, Richard, I have this principle, which is G.I.F.T, gift. So G stands for giving, tithing. That is number one priority. Number one. Even when you do your budget, kan bila kamu buat budget kamu, number one in your list, tithing.
Tithing, alright.
10% of your income kita balik kepada Tuhan. Bukan kerana Tuhan perlukan duit kita, kan? I mean, God owns everything in this world. Semua benda di dunia ni milik Tuhan. Semua duit milik Dia.
Yes.
But the idea of tithing is to kita acknowledge yang Tuhan sumber everything that we have. And actually, one of the things that my dad, Pastor Ujang, kalau ada yang kenal, is dia selalu mengingati kami yang kalau kita tidak buat tithing kan, itu seperti merompak Tuhan. And it's something that it's always that the book of Malachi, buku Malaki reminds us of. Kalau kita tidak tithing, kita merompak Tuhan. Tapi kalau kita tithing, lihatlah bagaimana Tuhan akan memberkati kita. Itu bila kita setia dengan tithing kita kan, Tuhan akan memberkati, dan itulah janji Dia. And so this is something that as a principle that sebagai satu keluarga kita we hold on lah, my family hold on, and we see that. Dulu kan saya mengaku first saya keluar kerja dulu, saya sometimes kan tithing is number 2, number 3 dalam priority.
Leftover.
Leftover baru saya tithing kan. But those months juga, bulan-bulan itu juga, bulan-bulan yang saya tidak cukup. But bulan yang saya buat tithing tu, Tuhan setia dengan janji Dia memberi saya cukup 1 bulan. Cukup pakai 1 bulan. And so I see that faithfulness, God's faithfulness in my life. And that's why I encourage my young people, I encourage all of you who's listening out there, jangan leka, we have to be faithful with our tithing. That's number one priority. Bila kita tithing kan,
Sorry, I'm thinking about.
Kita tithing kan, kita mengatakan,
Sorry.
Tuhan adalah milik, Tuhan adalah master kita.
I was thinking of what about those yang this is a Christian thing, but what about me? I'm not a Christian. Why giving is important for me?
So, from a more worldly kind of perspective, why giving is important? There's always this thing where we say you pay it forward. Okay, you pay it forward. And when we give, if let's say you're not a Christian, but when you give, you're giving into society, kan? You're giving into different. And imagine when you give, you pay it forward. A few years later, someone who has received what you've given comes back to you and say, "Hey, I remember you. Can I give it? Can I help you with what you're going through?"
Yes.
So even if you're not a Christian, the concept of giving is that kita tolong sama sendiri, and you're not keeping it for yourself now. It'll come back to you in the future.
Yes.
So I think I hope that encourages more people to give.
I think also these are like counter culture whereby our mindset is consuming. I mean, taking. But by giving, you develop a habit of counter culture. You instead of just taking, you want to give. And just like what you said just now, it might come back to you or it might not. But when it come back to you, you will feel like, what I give, it will be written back to me in the form of maybe not in terms of monetary, but different kind of giving back yang you receive.
That's the thing, in Richard, in this kind of our consumer culture, right? Before we keep thinking of ourselves. It's a very self-centered culture. So we want to get out of that. When we get out of ourselves, then we realize, hey, actually our money, our money doesn't mean that much. What means the most is relationship. And this is what we see, especially sekarang kan, di musim PKP,
Yeah.
MCO. We realize what kind of, other than buying what we need, the necessary goods,
True.
Starbucks, boba,
True.
it doesn't mean anything anymore, you know.
True. Wow. Yes.
but-
Wow.
But we can use what we have to help someone else, and that means more than keeping the money to ourselves.
Yes. Wow. You're. Yeah. You're right. I mean, when this thing happened, then we start to think of, actually, yang the drink like 7 ringgit, 9 ringgit, spend in Starbucks. Not that we don't say I'm gonna go to Starbucks, I'm gonna drink again, but I'm saying that it changed our perspective lah. Wow, it's true what you said.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of this puts what the season that we're living in puts everything into perspective. I also mentioned in my gift, the principle of the gift principles, that you think in terms of needs and not wants.
Yes.
What is important? What is not important? You know, what you prioritize, what apa yang penting dulu lah.
Yes.
Then yang lain tu kalau tidak penting jangan nak dulu. And then duit tu boleh simpan untuk something else.
Yep. Yes, which is that also gonna lead to our second point. Number 1 is giving or tithing, and second is
invest in self.
wow. I love this.
When we think about invest in self kan, it's actually sangat besar bah. But my main question is, what is your purpose? What's your dream? And are you investing in your dream and your purpose? Invest in self bukan maksud hari ini saya tiada mood lah, terus saya mau minum boba saja. Then you go buy that 12 ringgit cup of boba. That's not what it means by invest in self. You know, invest in self is, are you making yourself better? Are you making yourself are you adding value to yourself? And by adding value to yourself, you're also giving back to the kingdom of God. You're giving back to society. And that's very important lah. Macam, like for me personally, when I think about investing in self, I have a dream that one day I want to open a library cafe.
Wow.
And so every month, I put aside a certain amount of money in my unit trust account, because I know that would generate interest.
Sure.
I put a certain money in there so that eventually in a certain amount of years, I can take the money out, cash the money out, and realize my dream.
Wow.
So, and that's how one of the ways I invest in myself. Of course, investing in myself, I also what are the skills that I need? Do I need to pay money for that? Do I need to? What are the books that I need to read? Richard, I know you love reading books.
This remind me about investing in yourself. I think I believe in this principle of investing in yourself. I'm thinking that sometimes we are using money to spend to other things, and at the end of the day, we don't see it. We don't see the value of it. Just like what you say, value is very important. So for me, how I invest in myself is I'm reading books. And when I make this calculation, before this I was a smoker. So I make a calculation, if I smoke, in 10 years, how much I will spend. And then I make another calculation about books. I make that calculation, how much do I spend in 10 years. I found out that I spend more on books, but based on value that you say, better I stop smoking and use that money to invest in books, which is invest in my mind, in my emotional ways. And I found that although I lost more money in books than in cigarette, I found that this investment give value to me. So what do you think about it? I mean, sometimes investing ourselves, if you look at in the long run, as if we spend more, but the value that we get is very valuable to us. Yeah. What do you think about it?
I think one of the ways we can think about it is that what's the output? What's the outcome? If we change our perspective to outcome of what we do. Let's say we take an example just now, like smoking versus reading. When you smoke kan, one pack of cigarettes is what, 20 ringgit for okay, bukan lah, it's not that I know lah, I just notice saja kan. Okay.
Dunhill 20 ringgit, but the cheapest one is 5
Dunhill,
ringgit.
okay. 5 ringgit. Okay. Let's say 5 ringgit lah. We take the 5 ringgit one. 5 ringgit, you smoke a cigarette, 15 minutes, you feel calm. But after that, what? You know, what's the outcome of it? It's only yourself yang so-called benefit. You get your emotional kepuasan, satisfaction, emotional satisfaction for like that 15-20 minutes. And then what? There is more cons when it comes to pros. You cause more harm by causing by the people around you. They'll get secondhand smoke. You cause more harm in terms of cancer and a lot of things. And cancer, let's say you kena cancer lah yourself, kan? Let's say you yourself kena cancer. How much did you calculate in per lifetime on smoking? 10 years of smoking.
I wrote down in, I don't remember, around 3,000 something, 6,300 something like that.
Okay, so let's bring it up to a figure 7,000. 7,000. And let's say after 10 years of smoking, you spend 7,000 ringgit on smoke. But then at the end of 10 years, apa yang kamu dapat? Cancer. The cost of treating cancer in today's value, it's what? 40,000 at least?
Wow.
30 to 40,000. That is what most insurance cancer plans cover. Critical illness cover. They cover maybe 30 to 40,000. And if and more when you think about post-treatment chemotherapy and all those things, and it's getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
So you think that your primary cost is 7,000 ringgit, and then you got your additional cost, 40,000 ringgit. When you don't think in terms of the outcome, it's not worth it. But when you say, Richard, when you compare it to books and investing in yourself,
nobody gets cancer because of reading books.
Yeah, nobody gets cancer because of reading books. But when you read, the thing is, what I love about reading, what I love about consuming content, is that we are not just consuming. We masuk, we fikir, we hadam, we cerna. It sounds bad when it comes out, kan? It's not bukan tai saja lah yang comes out, kan?
Output.
Comes out. Your output is not. It's a lot of it's nutrients to your soul, and these nutrients give you energy to do good things, to do other things. So the output of reading and not just reading, but a lot of different kind of content is that you bring good to this world. But that is only when we practice what we read lah. Like I love this platform, like what you're doing with Legacy.tv. Like what you read, and then you turn it into simple to digest. Make it simple to digest for people to read or to see. That is how your way of adding value after you read, kan? If I may say so. So okay, maybe reading. I know there are some people who like me. You may not K-drama. There are some K-dramas that actually makes us think even more.
Okay.
And those there are dramas that though in that sense there are dramas that add value in our lives. So, but it only works if we think twice and turn it into something useful that we can bless others with.
Yeah. So all of this is what happened is in the form of like compound effect. Just the way you invest your money, and then after a certain year, then you take it out, and then you say you want to have this coffee library, and same way like books in the long term, then you will get this compound effect. And I think that also leads to the third point, which is all of this is about future plan.
Yeah.
So what you have to say about that?
So the third thing, G.I.F.T. F is for future plan, kan? You invest yourself, you invest in your dreams, you invest in your purposes. That's like a positive thing. But there's also on the flip side, in the future, you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know whether you accident car.
This is what they call rainy days.
Rainy days, you know, our life is not smooth sailing or everyday kan. Kalau everyday shock macam ni, tidur, bangun, makan, duit automatically masuk dalam bank. Not every day is like that, you know. There are days where we have to work. I mean, most of the days we have to work. There are also days that things happen. Accident, sakit, you know, things like that. Not so good things may happen. And when that happens, are you ready for it? So there's always there are ways to plan for your future. One of the ways is by buying insurance. Another way is to set up an emergency fund. All these things lah yang kita boleh untuk plan for future kita. But also there are also other things, you know. Mungkin ada di sini yang mendengar mereka sudah kahwin. Kalau sudah kahwin, you get kids, right?
Yep.
Your kids kalau mau study kelak, macam how are you going to pay for their nowadays? Kalau masuk IPTA kan, Unimas lah, you have to, let's say yang dekat-dekat di Unimas lah. Per sem you spend 6,000 to 7,000 on average lah, 7,000 school fees saja.
Wow.
Itu yuran sekolah saja dah 7,000. Okay? And then on top of that, your living expenses, all these things kan. This is sekarang tau. Kalau 10-20 tahun yang akan datang, all this akan meningkat by double even.
Yeah.
Because of inflation lah, mainly because of inflation. So while it's a good thing, but it's an expense that we can expect to spend on. So you plan for that. Kalau yang single kan, yang mau kahwin dalam jangka masa 2-3 tahun. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. Kahwin pakai duit bapa, pakai duit mak, sometimes pinjam sini, pinjam sana, ambil personal loan untuk kahwin.
Wow.
What's the point? You start your marriage dengan hutang. And when you start your marriage dengan hutang, itu akan it gives your marriage stress and tension. One of the top reasons, actually, in fact, almost 40% of marriages in Sarawak yang end up in divorce. Wow. The reason is because, or rather, or maybe I put it this way, 40% of marriages that end up in divorce in Sarawak is because of financial tension, financial reasons. Wow. Mereka tidak dapat handle hutang mereka, or some because even gambling. All these things, you know, that's why there's a lot of stress when it comes to money. But when we plan for the future, when we have savings, cara kita buat savings and all these things, this it will reduce the stress that we face in times to come.
I also don't have like the first confession that you have just now. I think your confession is actually all of us. That confession is for all of us. Whereby after we receive salary dan sebagainya, only hujung-hujung bulan tu hampir-hampir mau mati, tiba-tiba kena tunggu for the next pay in order to survive and all that.
Yeah.
So there is no future plan. I think the best example also is what happened today as we're recording. We are in quarantine, COVID-19, and because of no saving, we don't want to. You see, we don't want to put a burden on people or blame them or why you don't save, but we want to give them precaution yang it is important for you to save for your future plan. Whatever happened, maybe what happened now, I mean, next time we don't know, maybe it can be worse. Yeah, not try to scare people, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we hear people say that this, there are people who are saying that COVID-19 is going to come back. It's not even when this ends, it's going to come back, and when it comes back, we don't know how bad it's going to be. But also, there's something that leadership guru Craig Groeschel once said: always prepare for a crisis every 10. Like a crisis will happen every 10 years. Always prepare for that. So, this is the one that's happening right now. 10 years later, there's going to be, within 10 years, another big one's going to happen. So we always think ahead and prepare for that crisis. So, yeah, and when MCO started kan, government ada hantar banyak poll, Google Form ada, pakai Telegram punya poll pun ada. The number one question is that, are you ready? Adakah kamu bersedia untuk PKP? Adakah kamu mempunyai duit yang cukup untuk kalau PKP kena extend? And I saw this on Telegram poll. 60% of people say tidak cukup.
Wow.
Kalau kena extend lebih daripada that time they say lebih daripada 4 minggu.
Wow.
And so we need to think ahead. If you have minimum, most financial advisors, most financial experts, they will say minimum ada 3 bulan gaji 3 bulan atau living expenses 3 bulan di dalam bank. Or minimum 3 bulan, kalau boleh 6 bulan. Work towards that. Have 3 to 6 months worth. So let's say even if you kena pecat pun, you also got backup. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Interesting. Let us go to the last point. Later kita boleh kembali balik from all the previous one. I remember my car. I use Viva, and it's quite old car. And because of that, my aircon selalu broke. So selalu rosak dan sebagainya. So my friend says to me, why don't you buy a new car? He says, which is he's a goodwill friend. Just buy a new car. But when I think about it, right, for me to buy a new car, I think it's better for me to just use my kereta borok now. Let me finish the loan first. Then after that, I want to maybe I change the car dan sebagainya. So I'm thinking of in terms of my need for this car is to move me from A to B, and when the car do that, I think for me that is enough for the purpose of having car. So in terms of need rather than want. So what do you say about it? Which is our
with the last point, I think in terms of needs and not wants, right? You buy only what you need, and like what you said, the car. Actually, that was the beginning of my financial crisis last year. Was I bought a new car? I didn't think that far. I only know I need a new car. That time I was driving a kancil. And it was good enough to take me from A to B. And when I traded in, I got a new car. Wow, shock ada kereta baru, can show off a bit. But I find myself every month kan susah sikit. So I didn't think that far. Whether do I really need that new car? Or could I just tahan dulu with this one car, and that car, the loan sudah habis bah. I didn't have to spend extra. So, I could have used that money for other things, or maybe I could save up. And when the car really, really break down, baru saya beli, go for another car. I should have diverted it that way. But back to my point. I think in terms of need, not wants. This is how my mom raised me. Raised me and my siblings. Dulu at like 5, 6, 3, I remember 4 years old, 5 years old, masuk supermarket kan. Mom, I want this. Me, I want that. Everything pun mau. And my mom would ask, do you need this to live? Sometimes, if she's feeling nice, she'll say that. Most of the time, she just say no. Sebab if she rushing kan, she had to go buy other things. She'll get other things more important. But that's how she trained us. Do I need this to survive? And that is a main. I think a lot of young people, we think about what we want now.
I think another one thing that I'm thinking about is that, we are in the culture of social media, whereby what we show is who we are. So by going to certain place like expensive vacation and all that, I think we want to tell the people that aku mampu spend this. The pressure of what people think of you, is that gonna play a role in this like in terms of need?
Yeah, well, you see, we want to look good, right? But here, we want to look good. It's still a want. To look good is still a want. One of the things that this MCO has taught me is that I don't need to go to nice cafes. I don't need to go to nice places to look good. Yeah. And also one of the things that Jesus himself taught us is that why do you worry about tomorrow? Why do you worry about how people will look at you? Even Solomon, King Solomon, in all his riches, in all his glory, can spend all these things, but he cannot compare to a flower that grow by the side. Right? Jesus said that on the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
If you you agree with me, and so if God can make a flower so beautiful, what more us, His children? Apatah lagi kita yang menjadi anak dia. Dia boleh menjadikan kita glorious tanpa menggunakan semua benda-benda yang ada di sisi kita. I know a lot of girls, actually sometimes even myself, we like shopping for baju, shopping for makeup, do rambut. But you see, MCO datang, you cannot dye your hair, you cannot go to the salon, you cannot go clothing shopping. I know lah, Zalora kan ada, but you cannot do your hair and things like that. But tidak mati kan?
Yeah.
But God made us beautiful from inside. And I know for a lot of guys, actually, some like even I have a lot of things yang I may not do. So I can understand both sides. Like I know guys who like buying gadgets. I need this, I need that. I want to make this. I want to make my sound better. I want to play this game more fast. I need this PC that's like 7,000 ringgit because I want to stream my game live. Yeah, like we got our boys got toys, kan? But is it a need or a want? At the end of the day, it comes back to, do we need this to survive? If we don't have this, will we die? Kalau tiada ini, mati ke tidak? So, yeah, I think we also have to remember that God, as Christians, kan, God can take care of us. We have to remember that God can take care of us. If you're not a Christian, I encourage you to try God. Okay, but try this God that we worship in. But if not, think in terms of that way. Do you need this to survive? Kalau ini tidak, mati ke tidak?
Yeah, I think the 4 point about give is applicable not just to believers and also those who are whoever we are, which is giving is and investing in yourself, and F is future plan, and T is think in terms of need and not want. And I love the question that you asked, whereby we ask ourselves, do I really need this or do I want this? So, so think about in terms of that. So what are the things that you can share with us about how we want to handle our money? What are the things that you yourself personally do?
What else I personally do other than budgeting is and personally I put a lot of emphasis in giving because I know God give me the money not for myself but to bless others. So that's one of the main things in how I manage my money. Also planning. And back to the budget bit. I think planning is I cannot emphasize this more enough. If you can plan to the most if you can plan to the most detail, that's like the best way you can do it. Plan as detailed as you can.
I don't. The first time I think about this, right? I really don't want to plan because I'm not really that detailed kind of person. So I remember when I first joined into the ministry, I sometimes, to my shame, not a shame, but to my shame, that I borrow money from my own colleague because I don't think I don't have enough. I borrow from my colleague who are married, I mean, you imagine how desperate I am during the time. So, and then my senior, she says this, why don't you write down what are the things that you spend and let us discuss about this. As you know that I don't really want to write. So when I write down, then I start to think about, because you say start with pen and paper. These are two very basic tools in budgeting. So I write down and then I see, actually I shouldn't spend money on this one. And why like then I see what are the things that I spend to myself, and
Yes.
that is really basic. And but I
Yeah,
still
that's
need to learn about it.
yeah, that's really really basic. Even for myself, plan as detailed as you can. And I like what you said. You know, you said that your friend is the one, your senior is the one who sat you down and write it down.
Yeah.
If you don't have that self-discipline, get a friend to do it with you. Get someone you trust to do it with you. Kalau sudah laki bini, do it together. Because it's your household. Kan kalau satu rumah kamu plan bersama-sama. Sebab ini duit bersama-sama. But if not, and if you think you do not have the self-discipline to do it yourself, cari seorang yang kamu percayai untuk buat bersama-sama. And that also keeps you accountable. Accountable to your finances as well.
So I also hear from your testimony, you says your father is the one who keep on encouraging you guys to keep on giving, and then your mother is keep on telling you guys, do you need this or do you want this? The function of family in giving this habit of mengendalikan wang. So how far is family environments in how we
Very, very important, because most of our spending habits start from our home. How we think about money, how we spend, all this start from home. Last time, I don't know if you remember, in the 90s, was it BSN or was it Maybank that have this iklan where the kid starts like putting money in the tong, what do you call that? The
tabong.
Piggy bank, tabong, in the tabong, and then besar-besar, and then after that he bought sampai he buy a car for the father using the duit dalam tabong tu. So a lot of these habits kan, it actually start from young. If parents, kalau ibu bapa tidak ajar kids macam mana mau menyimpan, macam apa yang penting, macam mana kita mau spend untuk what do we need to spend on. Kalau besar nanti, kalau a lot of times, I don't want to say it's too late, because it's never too late. Okay, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to start again. But it's always easier to start when you're young.
I found that if you don't have like family like this, you can bring up the mentor or people in the church, like your introduction just now. Or if you don't have anyone like that, maybe you can start by reading books on finance. I really encourage people to read books. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is very, very good basic understanding of financial education.
Yes, I don't know if you played this game, but one of the trainings when I first started as an insurance agent, one of the training session was this game based on the Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes. They have that.
That's a really good training tool. If parents can buy it for their kids, now MCO you can play games together. Or between roommates also playing game together, can buy this just to learn about financial planning.
I think also because of you also share about there is an apps U version. You can get that resources and all that. Since we are in, I think we are limit in our time. How people want to know more about you? How people can reach you?
Okay, I guess you can reach me mainly Facebook and PM me Tabitha Ujang, or you can reach me through WhatsApp. Can I say my number here?
I'm going to share your numbers. I'm going to ask for your numbers later, and I'm going to share in this caption for this video. Last question for you. What is legacy to you?
Legacy for me is me fulfilling what my father's dreams, and my kids fulfilling my dreams, and my grandchildren fulfilling their dreams. And it's like a passing, we fulfill each other's dreams.
Oh, wow.
So and it's an intergenerational thing. So for me, that's legacy.
All right. Thank you very much, Tabitha. I love your name. For allowing yourself to be interviewed in this session. So anyone daripada legacy.tv, if you want to ask more about how to handle your money dan sebagainya and resources, we're gonna share with you guys dalam caption dan juga komen dan sebagainya. Please, if you cannot get anything from our conversation, we want you guys to think about that how important it is for you to plan for your money, and that is it's gonna penetrate in all your life. And not that we say that this is the important one, but how you handle money, like stewardship, is very important. Now, until we meet again in maybe a new topic about finance, and kalau kamu ada soalan dan sebagainya, you can just ask through comment. Until we meet again, goodbye, Tabitha.
This is
Thank you very
my
much.
legacy.